Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast brought by Closures.io, where we explore the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Milan Kohut, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced, the lessons learned, and the strategies fueling future growth. Today, I'm absolutely thrilled to be joined by Karen, a holistic health expert who transitioned from corporate law to leading the wellness industry after her health journey began in 2009. Facing serious health challenges, a decade later, she expanded her expertise to heal body, mind, and spirit holistically through self-development, coaching, and mentoring. Now, via Holistic Health VIP, she shares practical insights from her experience to optimize personal health levels. With that being said, Karen, let me officially welcome you to Founders Future.
Thank you.
It's great to have you on the podcast.
It's a pleasure.
Absolutely. We're going to dive right into the conversation. What I love to do with all of my guests is a bit of traveling back in time. So before you even had this company, what were you doing before? And then eventually, what was the motivation for starting the business?
Absolutely. I started my journey back in 2009 when I faced my own health challenges. You know, working in corporate law, everything was great on the outside, very successful, but internally my own well-being was declining. And as time passed and I got my own healing journey sorted out, I realized that health was really about environment, stress, nutrition, mindset, and lifestyle. So that personal transformation ignited a passion in me to help others. And in 2010, I launched Holistic Health. So for the past 15 years, I've been coaching, teaching, and building meaningful relationships with people across 14 countries around the world. So today I'm building my brand, reaching people at the ground level so that they can understand how their body works and everyday strategies that they can use to improve their health and well-being. So rather than chasing symptoms and using supplements and just trying to struggle through life in that way, I'm about education and helping people hit the ground running with these practical tools. So my mission has always been the same. It's always been about empowering people to become a better version of themselves. But today with Holistic Health, I'm able to do that with practical tools and modalities.
I love it. And I also feel like there's going to be a lot of people listening to this right now and just nodding their head. Because for a lot of people in the world of corporate, this is very demanding. There's constant pressure. It's a tough lifestyle, though. So I believe that there is a lot of people who can truly relate to you. And it also makes you a better coach, though. You know, having this personal experience of going through all of that yourself, you just truly understand it. There's a different level of understanding for your clients. So I love that. Now, Karen, obviously, throughout the 15 years of running the coaching practice, I'm pretty sure there was a lot of adjusting and pivoting. But what we're going to do now is really help bring a better and bigger clarity to our audience in terms of who it is exactly that you're trying to help right now, but also what are the core offerings that you have in place for your clients. So tell us all about it.
So if I can just go back a second, I actually started helping people nutritionally with health products. And what I learned was that health is not just about nutrition. It's about sleep, it's about stress, it's about toxicity. So what I decided to do was intentionally pivot to holistic health, because then I realized from my own health journey that there was so much more to take on board. And when I decided to do that, I was looking for clients who really wanted to hit the ground running and understand how their body works, not just dealing with symptoms. So today I'm coaching people, and I have an online library which includes specialized courses. So for example, I have one in particular that deals with cancer. So anybody who's navigating that challenge or someone they know, they can get help with that using holistic modalities to do that. So for the general populace, people are looking for mental clarity. They're looking for more energy. They're looking for handling stress. So my library is actually expanding into those areas as well. And my YouTube channel also regularly provides content on these different areas. So my offerings are basically, they work on the sense that I have a discovery call, so people can find me through YouTube, through my website, or referrals, which is the best way, of course. And once I'm in touch with the client, then basically I can discuss with them what their needs are, what they're looking for. And then I can decide whether one-to-one coaching is good, or maybe the online course that I have would be better for them, or maybe if it's some other offering. But really, it's about people who want to be educated and move forward from just what I call just slapping a plaster on something, because that's not really going to get real world results. And that's what we're about here at Holistic Health. So that's basically people who really want to change from the ground up and not just do something for the interim and then go back to their lifestyle how it was before.
Absolutely. Now, when you talk about the one-on-one setting, obviously this is something that truly allows you to dive deeper into all of the issues and really walk the client through the entire journey step by step. So the first thing that I would like to clarify, when you look retrospectively back at all of the people that you work with, what would you say is the average duration of you really working with a client so that you can go through every single stage and basically set them up for success in the future?
Well, that's like saying how long is a piece of string? Because each person is different. You know, they're going to have their own challenges health wise, and then that is going to be compounded with their family issues, perhaps even with trauma, or something that's very, very chronic. It depends. Sometimes people come to me when they've been sick for a very, very long time. So you have to deal with people where they're at. But overall, what I would say is that the beautiful thing with holistic health is that your body is always working optimally, or trying to get the best results. So whatever I actually suggest, even small things like improving your sleep and drinking more water and just, you know, getting exercise, little bits. It doesn't have to be pounding yourself at the gym, just going around the block from your home for 15-20 minutes daily. These small things actually compound over time and people start to see results. So it's difficult to say, you know, an exact time frame because everybody is different. But the beautiful thing is that the strategies, they compound and they work very quickly once somebody starts to implement them.
I love this. And also, Karen, when I look at your industry, there's a lot of professionals who are basically balancing both the world of B2C, where you work with individuals, whoever that might be, but also balancing the B2B side, where you really come into the organizations and corporates and really work with their teams. So I'm curious, is this a similar structure to what you have in place, or would you say that you're solely focused on individuals?
I'm solely focused on individuals. I mean, who knows, in time that offering might go to corporate and actually help organizations, because let's face it, their biggest asset is people. And if they don't have people and if their health is challenged, then businesses are going to suffer. So yes, long term, that would be the ideal kind of framework. But from the ground up, it's actually working with individuals. And sometimes people are struggling with their health for so long, they don't know where to turn anymore. And I personally have seen, with working with many, many clients, that definitely through COVID, people are not happy anymore to be given a pill and just, come back in 6 months and see how you are. You know, they want to get to the root cause of what's going on. And that can only happen through education. So where I do have various offerings and I can suggest different things, my real primary thing is about education, because we want people to make good lifestyle choices. And this is something I say very much in my course, right? That, you know, whatever you've done up until this point has got you to where you are right now. So this isn't about just doing this for a few months or a few weeks and going back to where you were, because otherwise you're going to be bringing those same symptoms back to the table, right? So it's all about making sensible lifestyle choices. But a lot of people kind of quote unquote fall off the wagon. Well, why is that? Because they don't understand the benefits. They don't understand what their body needs to fuel. They don't understand that rest is important, that water is important. So yeah, it's great to have some alcohol now and again and to treat yourself now and again and have a takeout. But we don't want to be doing that 7 days a week and 30 days out of a month. No, we have to be selective. And if we incrementally start making these changes, then our body will thank us for it and we will actually feel the results. It's not just, oh, I don't feel that pain anymore. It will actually just dissipate permanently because you've given the body the fuel what it needs to succeed. So it's about education as well as giving them the strategies for success.
Absolutely. I absolutely love how you emphasized on the educational piece several times at this point, because this is what it really takes for us to basically understand how we can harm ourselves by just not having the good habits in place, right? Because this is all coming to the lifestyle that you create for yourself. So I love this. Now, also, one thing that I would add on top of this, considering your industry, I don't even feel like for people like you, it's necessary to get into the world of B2B and work with the corporates. There's still a ton of impact that you can have on a lot of people. You know, the industry is booming. People are starting to realize that we need people like you. So there's definitely a ton of potential. Now, Karen, we all know that in order to succeed with this type of business, having a good client acquisition system in place, that's one of the key components, right? So I'm curious also what is happening on the back end side of the business? What is happening with your marketing and maybe specifically with lead generation to make all of this happen and have the ability to onboard new clients into your programs and keep changing lives?
Yeah, well, it's been an evolving journey. There's never like a clear roadmap. So you just go where things take you. So as I said earlier, I've been working with clients around the world, and then when I transitioned from nucentric nutritional kind of model, that kind of education, I was able to use those clients as like a foundation, because in the beginning I wasn't really sure whether this approach was going to work. And so I was kind of feeling things out and making suggestions to different clients. But what actually happened was I was getting people saying, you know, for the first time in like 10 years, I've been able to exercise, or I've literally slept through the night and I wasn't anxious anymore. And these kind of mini victories, as they were, would reassure me that I was definitely on the right track with holistic health. So what happened then was I decided fairly recently to make a YouTube channel, and that has just really exploded my business. The response has been overwhelming, and it just showed me that people want to know this information. They're keen for the strategies, they're keen for the education. The comments that I get, it is just so heartwarming. So now that that platform is there, my business is structured in such a way to support that. So what I'm doing now, of course, one-to-one is very important to me, because when you're working with somebody, that's what gives you the gratification, that's what gives you the reward. But saying that, like you were saying, you know, you want to get that message out there to people, and YouTube has been a platform that has accelerated that. So now that I can be put in front of thousands, if not millions of people, I can then also tag on to my online library so they can have access to that information. I can coach them through that. And I do actually offer, as part of the online course, that once they've gone through the foundational steps, that they can actually book a one-to-one session with me. So if there's anything that they need a little bit more support with, then I can help them with that. So yeah, it has definitely evolved over time, but my back office team is small, but very dynamic, very experienced in the world of UX and development of websites and online platforms. So I'm super, gratified and appreciative of everything that's been done behind the scenes with my team. So yeah, it enables me to get in front of so many people, which is what I'm grateful for.
That's beautiful, though. I feel like YouTube is definitely a step into the right direction. Like you said yourself, there is a huge potential for you to really leverage on that platform and keep spreading the word. But also, one thing that I would like to point out is you mentioned a couple of times now word of mouth and referrals. Obviously, we all know that this is the best kind of source that you can have when you really let your results basically speak for you. So that's great. But there's typically a lot of frustration about the inconsistency of those sources, right? So if you compare it to, for example, running a paid ad on social media, that is very inconsistent, right? So I guess my question is, what is your perspective on the inconsistency and how do you deal with that?
I personally don't use paid ads because I actually find that when somebody has paid for something, there's a level of expectation there. And when somebody comes to you, they can be quite demanding. So, as you said, the best way is through word of mouth because the person they've heard it from is somebody in their hot circle who they trust, who they know. And so when they say to them, I know this person and they've helped me with X, Y, and Z, they're a little bit more open. That means the barriers are down. I don't have to convince them of what I can do or who I've helped or whatever. With a paid ad, you would have to do that. That's why it works well for large corporations because they can afford to do that. If somebody doesn't want to listen to it, they can just move on. But with a small business owner like myself, of course, time is money. So the time I'm there spending convincing somebody that I can help them, I could actually be working with somebody and getting them results. So I personally work with word of mouth, and I've not really needed to actually run any paid ads to generate leads or whatever. And as I said, YouTube has been a great platform for me because they can trial my recommendations. And then if they want to take it a step further, they can book a discovery call, which is free. And then we can work from there and I can suggest different offerings. So for me personally, that model has worked much better than paid ads.
Good for you, Karen. Now, when you talk about the team, though, I'm curious, this is really becoming one of the biggest topics on the podcast. So, when it comes to your philosophy on maybe when is the right timing to actually take the next step, hire somebody, I want to take a sneak peek into how you really went about the situation and what does the structure really look like for you with your team right now? Whether it's a help for marketing, whether it's for a sales process, how does that really look?
Well, it's just myself and one other person right now. And that is great because we have a lot of control of what's going on. But also the level of experience that my other business partner has is just immense. So I'm in a very unique position. A lot of people are trying to navigate social media and so many other things, and which is very tricky because think about it. Most people want to focus on their business, but they may not have any social media skills, and they're having to learn that on the job at the same time, and that can be very frustrating. But my business partner has well over 20 years experience in the world of the internet, is a master UX provider and consultant. So even in the world of AI as well, it's just absolutely amazing. So for me, I'm in a very unique position that I have this background and this knowledge within my team, within my business to propel it forward, which is why I've had the success I've had in such a very short space of time. So my journey is a little bit different from most people because otherwise you would have to hire this knowledge into your business. And it is very difficult to navigate, but I would say do the best that you can. I think people are forgiving because it's a learning curve for many new businesses. So people are forgiving. I think it's people really just want to know about, they don't buy into your product or your offering. They buy into you. And if they
True.
like you, they will work with you. And that is the most important thing that I can say. It's not really about all the other technical stuff. Yes, that does help. But if you were just consistent, if you're just loyal, if you're genuine, people will stay with you and you'll develop impact, and then the income will follow. And then you can think about these things later on about hiring and so forth.
Yeah. Karen, I feel like me, but also anybody else listening or watching this right now, it's quite obvious how much of yourself you actually devoted to this industry and dedicated to the work that you do. So I'm curious, what is really going to happen next though? When you think about the future of the company, maybe the next 6 to 12 months, what would you say really are the biggest targets, goals, revenue, milestones that you have set for yourself?
So definitely within the next 6 to 12 months, my next goal is to hit 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. And that's definitely achievable because at the moment I'm getting about 70 to 80 views per day. So that really just shows me that people are comfortable with the content. They like what is being put out there. So that's very encouraging. And I think that's a very attainable, if not more, to get that many subscribers. But definitely too, I want to increase my online library as well, because as I said, the more information, the more education that I can get out there, not just working one-to-one, but people can actually help themselves along the way. So I'm definitely keen to do that. And as far as the content goes, just to be really personal with people and just be real. I think more than anything, people want clarity. They don't like big, long, technical, medical terms. You know, they're like, what do I need to do and how do I do it? That
Yeah,
is what people
that's
are
quite
really,
right.
that's what people are after. And that is what I aim to continue to offer to my audience, and just be genuine with them.
Yeah. Karen, again, it's lovely to see how much passion you have for what you do. It's quite oozing on me as through the screen as we're talking about. So, Karen, at this point, I'm gonna say thank you so much for taking the time today, sharing the story with me and the entire audience here at Founders Future. If anybody from the listeners would like to get in touch with you, perhaps even work with you one day, what is the best way to go about it?
Definitely just to get in touch with me via my website. You can book a discovery call and appointments there. Also my YouTube channel, which is holistichealth.vip. Again, you can get in touch with me that way, and I'm on all the social platforms as well, which I've shared with you.
Beautiful. Thank you again for your time. It was a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Now, to our listeners, if today's conversation inspired you as well, make sure to subscribe to Founders Future on your favorite platform. And also, if you're a business owner, more specifically a consultant or a coach, or you have an agency, and you're trying to scale the business and really enhance both your sales and marketing efforts, also visit closers.io, get in touch with our team, and discover how exactly we scaled our company from zero to over 30 million per year in less than 3 years. Until then, keep on climbing, and I'll see you on the next one.